Okay. Welcome, Michael J. Welcome, everyone.
Jay is here.
Back to class, Parsha class. And the theme of this Parsha, is every day, every moment, you can accomplish something new. And which is a very important topic because many times we feel like we're doing the same thing all over again. So on one hand, routine is good. Without routine, you don't get anything done. What's the problem with routine?
Or it becomes
Complacency.
So you need routine, but too much routine is not good. How do we how do we strike a balance? We need some, but not all, right? So many people struggle with the monotony of life. You need to do something crazy. You need to get on Instagram or YouTube, become On the other hand, maybe it's a little bit extreme. Ira, you been on YouTube yet?
I don't go on YouTube. I mean, I look at YouTube, but I'm not on YouTube.
No.
What
You don't. You're not looking for anything too exciting. All right.
No, I mean, sometimes, if there's a song I'm looking up.
So it's the catch-22, right? We like routine, we hate routine. Or Charles Dickens, it was the best of worlds.
Best of times,
The worst of times. All right, so here's the question. It says, what do you do when the daily routine gets too monotonous, gets too routine? How do we reinvigorate ourselves? That's the question that we're facing today. So what do you do?
Add something.
Add something
You throw some spice on it.
on your day. You walk around with...
Well,
Instead of
not
Jerusalem spice,
necessarily.
throw shawarma spice.
Did you make yourself a spice?
He did.
Yeah,
So did I.
you're good.
I even tried it last.
Yes, I did too, but I was too generous. I mean, I was not generous enough with the spices, so
Alright,
it
so-
came out.
All right, so we have more spices when you need. Okay, so this is the question we're going to talk about today, because we all want to be excited. You can't be excited all the time. If you're excited all the time, then you're not excited. Or once there's a line, when everyone's special, no one is. I mean, you have ice cream for dessert, makes it special once in a while. You have it every day, not special anymore.
It's still special.
It's still special. All right, maybe ice cream was a bad example.
Yeah,
Well, that's why I don't have ice cream one day a week.
Right, 7 days a week.
No, 6 days a week.
Yeah, 6.
All right. So the and we see this, the concept that you can't be overly excited and overly joyous and overly everything. Now we're in the month of Adar, the month of joy. But the reason why it's the month of joy is because you have months like Av, which is not a happy month, right? You have regular months. But imagine if Rabbi said every month you got to be filled with joy. So you see that Maimonides says that a person shouldn't be overly, excessively laughing and frivolous, nor should one to be sad and depressed. A person has to be a friendly countenance. He should be joyous, not always crazy. I think people are shocked to find out that comedians aren't making jokes all the time, and they aren't clowns all the time.
What?
Exactly.
Well, that's why we have Shabbos.
Well, Shabbos you have to be happy. Shabbos you have to be joyful. Shabbos.
Yeah, but
What about
you got
Tuesday?
6 days during the week that you
To be
go
miserable.
crazy.
6 days a week you're miserable. Shabbos you're happy.
Right. That's why I have Shabbos.
There you go. On the other hand, we have to be happy all the time. We have to be joyous all the time, like the famous line from Nachman of Breslov, "Mitzvah gedola aliyas b'simcha." Tamid. It's a great mitzvah to always be happy. So, how do you balance the two? Those people are always smiling all the time. You want to slap them. Stop being so happy, right?
That's like morning people. People who wake up and they get right to it.
Yeah, guilty. Yeah. So when, Cyril's not a morning person at all. I mean, she's gotten better because she's married with 6 kids. But when we first got married, couldn't talk to her in the morning. We got into the car, I think, like once we made it right on Sheridan, got close to the 75, then we started having conversation. Until that point, don't talk. We just drink our coffee in silence. Okay, so we're going to learn based on something in this week's Parsha. The Parsha this week talks about some sin offerings, and also talks about what the Kohanim would do when they're initiated into the service of the Mishkan. And this is not only for the Mishkan, it's a lesson for all time. I'm going to touch my things. Let me know if it's good. Still working? This one's giving me problems today. Sometimes the left one doesn't stay, sometimes the right one. It's need duct tape. Or it could be like the hostage, the prisoner in Russian, just cut off your ears and you don't have a problem with AirPods. Right, thank God we're not there, huh? That was a black joke, dark joke. Okay.
What did you say?
So in this parsha we learn when a Kohen would come of age, and he was deemed worthy to serve in the temple. I think it was 25, 30. 25 was started for the Levim. I can't remember what the age of the Kohanim was. So when he initiated into the service, he had to bring an offering. It's called a mincha offering. This was with spices and everything else. Let's look at text number 3. Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, "This is the offering of Aaron and his sons when they anointed. They had to be 1/10 of a ephah. Ephah is a weight, a solid weight of fine flour, as a meal offering, offered daily. They shall offer it half in the morning and half in the evening." So if you look at the verse number 13, there's contradictory terms here. One, it says on the day that they are initiated. Then later in the verse it says every day. Well, which one is it? Initiated every day? What is this? Is this, rookies, we harass them every day? Yeah. Good thing we can go to college.
Well, the white is anointed, so that means you squirt them with the oil gun.
The oil gun. Yeah, good thing Larry wasn't in the temple. All you guys, a super soaker.
A super soaker. Well, they don't need a super soaker. If they're going to do it every day, they can just use a little oil.
A gallon of olive oil.
Right, exactly.
Right in the face.
So which one is this? So Rashi, the famous commentator, obviously points out this question, and he says in text number 4, he says, yeah, they started on the day of their anointing. So for a regular Kohen, they only got anointed once. I mean, they only got this meal offering once, the first day. For the Kohen Gadol, he did it every day. So every day, he had to do this new anointing, a new initiation meal offering. In fact, that's how he started. That's how he started his service. So he says, that's what he says over here. The high priest, however, offered one every day, as it said, offered daily half in the morning and half in the evening, and that's what and that's what the service of the high priest was. So a regular priest got this initiation offering once. The high priest was every single day, and that's what the Sifra Medrash points out and says. If you look at the text carefully, it doesn't say brings the meal on the day that he was anointed. It also states that it's offered daily. That's the verse means that he brings the meal offering every day, beginning biyoim, on that day continuously, beginning with the day he was anointed, and he would bring it every single day. Okay. In order for us to learn a lesson from it, because it's a nice question and answer. Thank you very much, Rabbi. Now we can go home. But in order for us to learn a lesson from it, we have to understand a little bit more about this daily offering the Kohen would bring. So in the temple, there were communal sacrifices, offerings, I should say, not sacrifices, offerings including sacrifices and meal flour, oil, whatever it was. And then there was private ones. So if a person had a nice event, had a baby, or survived an event, right? So they brought a Thanksgiving or a sin offering. Then you had your communal stuff. Like every single day, you had the menorah lit, you had incense, you had the sheep in the morning, and then there was the holidays. That was communal stuff. This Kohen thing, this Kohen Gadol, communal or individual? On one hand, it's individual, right? Because he's a Kohen. Let's say it's a regular Kohen, right? Well, let's take a regular Kohen. He does it once. It's individual, right? But the Kohen Gadol does it individual every day. Now, the thing about a Kohen Gadol is, does he have a side job? Okay, does a regular Kohen have a side job?
Yeah, he's got it.
Yes, he only serves in the Kohen, he only works in the temple a few weeks a year, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the size of his family. The rest of the time,
He's a butcher, a baker, candlestick
I
maker.
was going to say, couldn't it be argued that being the Kohen is side gig because it's only the 1 week a year or 2 weeks a year?
well, it's more than 1 week. So for sure, 2 weeks a year. But then you had the holidays, whatever. A few weeks a year, right? The rest of the time, the Kohen Gadol, did he have another job?
No.
No, his whole job was to represent the community. That's his job.
So then it would be communal. If he's supposed to represent the community, then, and he's doing it twice a day, it would be communal.
Well, no.
Continuous.
I don't mean the representation of the community wasn't twice a day. The representation of the community was always. I'm still recording, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You wanted to say something?
What?
You want to say-
No, I was just saying it's continuous.
So it's interesting because every day we're going to learn that every day was separate. Okay, so according to the according to the Barbanel, we're going to learn now in text number 6 is the Kohen Gadol represented all the Jewish people. See, we wanted to make sure that he was free of sin. He's the representative. So we want to make sure that we have a good representative, not like some of the bums we send up to Washington D.C.
Some,
Hey, those guys up in Washington, they work very hard at trying to be upright citizens.
Exactly.
They don't succeed, but they try very hard.
Remember that guy who they found money in his freezer?
Oh,
Cold cash, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
cold cash.
So that Barbanel, so that Barbanel says because the Kohen Gadol's entire being was to represent the community, and we want to make sure that he is pure, because you walk into the shul and the chazan has a bad voice. He doesn't look fit together and everything else. It's a poor reflection on the congregation. This is who you chose to lead the services. But when you have, like chazan with a shtimmer and he looks good and he's right. That's then it makes the congregation look better. I think we spoke about this in a previous class. That the Kohanim had to look good also. They couldn't have physical disabilities. Did we speak about that?
I know that that's been discussed. I don't remember if it was in this clip here.
And one of the reasons is because when you come into the temple, place has to look good. People have to look representative. Someone's posted a very funny picture of a Purim costume of these two girls. One is petite and pretty and everything else, and one is larger. I guess not as attractive. The petite pretty girl.
She was ample.
had the picture, Chasidic profile picture, and the other girl had real life picture. That was a great Purim costume. So the Kohen Gadol was representative. I mean, he had all the gold and everything else. Because you might say, why does God's house? Why does it need to have the gold, the silver, and yada yada yada? Well, because human beings came there and it needed to look nice. You come into God's house, it needs to look nice. Well, he also represented us spiritually, so you had to look nice spiritually. You couldn't be, betting on the horses, in the morning and then coming. Actually, it doesn't say anywhere in the Torah about betting on horses. Maybe that's how the Kohen made a living. You know what I'm saying,
But they were betting on the chariot races, not the individual
Chariot
horses.
races.
right? Exactly.
Camel races.
Oh,
Camel races.
The old joke. This guy goes to the horse racing, and he sees a rabbi bet, and every time he bets, the rabbi wins. So he sees the rabbi does a prayer, and he wins. So he goes over, see which horse the rabbi is praying over, and he bets, and he loses. He goes over to the rabbi and says, "Whoa! Every time you prayed, you won. How come this time?" The problem with you Gentiles is you don't know the difference between a prayer and a kaddish. Right.
A bracha and a chai.
Yeah. So the Barbanel says the reason why the Kohen Gadol, it was an individual. It was both. It was reflective on him, but because he represented the community, you had to bring it every single day. So now we can understand the whole debate. Is it communal? Is it individual? And it's both. And why you have to bring it every day? Because every single day, if it was individual, you do it once and fartik. Fartik means enough. Go ahead. But because it was communal, every day there's something else. Then imagine the president. I shouldn't bring the president. But imagine an elected official says, I worked on behalf of the community yesterday. Today I'm off. What you're off? Imagine the mayor of Baltimore said, no. Today I had an important meeting. I had a golf scheduled. Don't bother me about collapsed bridges. It doesn't work that way. Every single day, there's always something new coming up. Every single day, the Kohen Gadol had to represent the Jewish people in a new way. So this is what the Rebbe says. This is what the Sifra meant. Every day was a continuation of the day that he was anointed. This is the meaning of daily offering. It was daily insofar it was offered on the day that he was anointed. So if we look at it this way, let's say the Kohen Gadol, like the president, the first 100 days. Let's say the Kohen Gadol was Kohen Gadol high priest for 100 days, and he missed one day. How much did he miss?
An eternity.
Did he miss 1/100th of the service?
Yeah, 1%.
Did he? That's not what we're saying here. He missed 100%.
And he missed, if you're counting each one,
Each day,
100%. Yeah.
each day is it comes together. Soon in a month. What's today? Today is the 17th of Adar? No, today's the 16th of Adar, right? Yeah, the 16th of Adar. So exactly in a month, we're going to start the counting of the Omer. Exactly.
Dad, again? It's like the same time every year.
You don't have the app?
You have a month. You have a month to download it.
Well, I have the app.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
So don't start counting yet.
You can't count homers?
So the question with the Omer is we make a blessing every day. Is the Omer, is the mitzvah 49 days? Is it 7 weeks or 49 individual days?
Both.
12. Right? If it's individual.
You make both brachas. Or you
There's only one bracha you make.
One bracha, but you announce it both so many days and so many weeks.
The problem is, can you make a bracha in the beginning? Can you make a bracha in the beginning? If the mitzvah is 7 complete weeks, then you can only make the bracha when you finish counting. You can't make the bracha on the first day. What if you missed day 36? Right? Then your blessing was in vain. But if the mitzvah is individual days, then you miss a day. Okay, I'll make a bracha the next day. But we know that if you miss a day, you can't make a blessing anymore. Remember that? You can only make a blessing if you're counting every consecutive. Why? Because it's not one or the other. It's both. That means every single day is a totally new mitzvah, but it's part of
Larger mitzvah.
Yeah. This is what the Kohen Gadol was. Every single day was something unique, but it's part of his entire service. So now, this is why, you see, this is why the Kohen Gadol could not do anything else in the temple before he brought this anointing initiation sacrifice. Every single day, the first thing he did was, just like a regular Kohen couldn't serve in the temple before he brought this flour meal offering, the Kohen Gadol couldn't do anything in the temple, light the menorah, or sorry, not light. In the morning he would prepare the menorah, whatever it was, before. Why? Because he wasn't initiated yet. He hasn't brought that. Because now, today's a new day. Look at text number 8, the Rebbe says. And the Rebbe says this as far as halacha. He says, we could thus conclude that just as in the first day of a service, in which the high priest could not engage in any service before he offered the flour offering, so too, the high priest should not engage in any other service before he brings a flour offering. So this is what the Kohen Gadol was. The question is why? Why was every day a new day? I understand that it is. Why is it? That's a question we got to answer. Because in order to learn a lesson, we got to understand the why. Because if I tell you a halacha that had happened 2,500 years ago, thank you very much. But how does it apply to me? I'm not a kohen. Unfortunately, there's no Beis Hamikdash in Jerusalem. This is why you need to know the why, so you can apply it to daily life. Any questions so far, by the way? Okay, so the answer is going to be. Sometimes we say to ourselves, I don't got to do a mitzvah today. I did a lot of mitzvahs yesterday. Or whatever. I don't have to go to shul today. I went to shul. I done with the minyan 5 days. Today I'm taking vacation, like the old joke. I think you like this joke. The guy who's religious and orthodox and observant, with the payas, the shtreimel, the tzitzis, the whole thing. He decides he's taking a day off. Shaves his beard, t-shirt and jeans, and as he's about to walk into the casino, crossing the street, the car comes, hits him and kills him. Comes up to God and says, God, 50 years I served you diligently every single day. 1 hour. God says, Moshe, that you? I didn't recognize you, right? But the reason why it's a good joke is because many times we take this approach, thinking, here I did all these mitzvahs, so now, I'm going to take a break. What's wrong with that approach? No? What's wrong with that approach?
Well, the people up there in Pennsylvania, the Amish, their kids take a break from their religion and they go crazy.
Don't the people from Utah also do the same thing?
The Mormons?
The Mormons? I don't
No, I don't know.
I don't think so.
They go.
They don't have an off year? That's Amish?
They have,
It's
Amish,
Amish.
yeah, the rum.
The Amish, what's it called?
Rumspringer.
Is that English?
Yeah.
Rum
No,
Springer?
No,
It's German.
it's German.
Rum Springer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's German.
By the way, we had to watch the Frisco Kid.
Yes.
The Frisco Kid, when he bumps into the Amish, he's like, schlag it! And he's like, what? Du gesprechst du Deutsch?
a movie night just of Gene Wilder.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's wrong with that approach? No, come on, guys.
Well, it doesn't fit into a routine,
Okay,
and we're trying to balance. You have a routine, but you don't want the routine to get so.
exactly. So you take a break.
Not
I'll take a break. I don't want to get sick of going to shul. So one day I'm not going to go to shul. You're making my argument stronger now. No.
Okay.
No,
Rabbi
not
said again.
necessarily, because maybe you don't go to shul, but you daven at home.
By the way, it says in the Gemara, if a person always goes to shul, doesn't come to shul, in heaven they ask, where are you? You can't just take off shul. You think you can just do whatever you want? No, I mean saying, if you have a pattern of behavior, you can't just change it. By the way, there's a concept of annulment of the vow. We do before Rosh Hashanah. If you have a pattern of behavior, even though you never verbalized something, but if you have a pattern of behavior built over a long period of time and you want to change it, you have to do annulment of the vow. For example, you guys know that I don't use oil on Pesach. My house, we don't use oils. Where did I get that from? My house, right?
Some crazy people.
What's this?
We don't use oil on Pesach in my house.
Oil.
Yeah, I grew up that way. We don't use oil on Pesach.
The reason?
I'm not getting into the reason. That's a whole different class. Anyway, so we instead, in order for cooking, whatever it was, grew up using schmaltz. Put a little chicken fat
That's oil.
to grease it. But whatever, it's not processed. I'm not getting into it. Anyway, so the doctor told my father that he doesn't want him eating schmaltz anymore. Not healthy. My father had to go to the rabbi and do an annulment of the vow. For 70 years or 65 years, he's using schmaltz. You can't just decide. The reason why, the idea that you can't just take off, because it's a wrong approach to time, to life in general. So many times we look at life. You start over here, you end here, and everything in between is part of one page. It's all bound together, right? The thing we call it life. It's not the way the Torah looks at it. Torah looks at every day individually. Every single day is something totally, totally different.
Everything's new.
Everything's new. Now, yeah, you're right. There's a challenge. It's hard for us to find the novelty in the davening when the prayer is the same text. But the frame is the same, meaning the framework, sun coming up to siddur, that's the same. But the size of the canvas, so to speak, is the same, and the colors you get are the same. But you can create a different picture every single day. But that's up to you.
It's the same palette, but used differently.
Exactly. It's hard because you get the same. These are these services where they deliver to you, things you can cook, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they're on television. They have it.
Yeah. The question is, you can make your own dish, even though they're giving you the same ingredients. So this is what Alter Rebbe we're going to learn in text number 9. Alter Rebbe says it doesn't say in the text from the day he's anointed, because that would make it sound like that's the day, and then every day following that is just a continuation. It says in the verse biyom, on that day, and this is what he said. Look at what he said. It says in text number 9. Considering the fact that the high priest offered meal offerings every day, why does the verse say on the day? It should say from the day. So Alter Rebbe explains the day refers to revelation. The verse means to say that the revelation of that day he was anointed should be revealed every day. So the Kohen Gadol, as the spiritual leader of the Jewish people, his job was to teach us that just because you were something yesterday, today you can be something totally different. It goes for good, by the way, and for bad. We're going to see later in the class. A person should never be overconfident of themselves, thinking, "Oh, I've been observant, for so many years, I can't sin." A lot of people have fallen down the rabbit hole, a trap. And a lot of people, unfortunately, think to themselves, "Oh, I've been unobservant for so long, I can't start eating kosher now, putting on tefillin. I'm too." That's wrong. The job of the Kohen Gadol is to tell us every single day is a totally new energy. What you did yesterday is like those financial firms always say, past performance is not indicative of future results. And this is the lesson, and this is the lesson that the Kohen Gadol is trying to tell us. And we say this in davening. In davening, we say every single day, weekday, Shabbos, Hashem didn't create the world. Hashem creates the world. Every single moment, Hashem is recreating the world. I threw my kids, I forgot, one of my girls, mine for a twister. I asked her about time. What's time? Is time the same?
Time and space are the same thing.
Is time the same for everyone?
Time is a magazine.
That's true
So
too.
she asked me, "What do you mean?" I said, "When you're an adult, time goes fast. When you're a kid, you're in school, time goes slow.
Right.
Is time relative,
The older you get, the faster time goes.
right? Or is time set?" She's like, whoa. Like it didn't, right?
If you want time to
No, yeah.
slow down, you gotta
The-
move real fast.
The time, the time exists 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, but it's in the past.
It doesn't exist anymore.
By the way,
And the future doesn't exist yet. You know what exists
The
Yeah.
present.
right now? I don't know if you guys remember a story that we told in one of the classes, one of the JLI classes, based on this idea that God is creating the world every moment. There were these guys present at Farbrengen, and they had to fly back to Israel, and the Rebbe caught them. They were looking at their watches. They were nervous. The Rebbe said, "Don't worry." Says there's no airport, there's no plane, says everything is being created right this moment. I mean, it's a wild idea. So we say it in davening. Mechadish b'tuvah. This is text number 10. Mechadish b'tuvah b'choyim tovim. God renews creation, and and the Rebbe Maharash says that God, it's not really every day; it's every moment. So first of all, it's not that God created the world and set it in motion. No, every single moment is recreated. That's the case. Why don't we say in the davening, God recreates the world every moment? Why do we say every day? When they wrote the Siddur, I think the guys didn't notice that God creates the world every moment. No?
Well, every day
Science
is
is
different. And if
So-
every day is different.
Every moment's different too. Because the idea is, when do we notice change? From one day to the next. We don't realize change from one moment to the next. You go to sleep tired, you wake up tired.
Thank you.
I knew Michael J. I took the word out of your mouth.
It's been a constant state for 6 months.
Right. Meaning, the idea is that when do we really, when you think about in renewal, you go to sleep tired, or when we see a big change from one day to the next. If you think about it, by the way, sleep is a big waste of time.
yeah, but if you don't sleep,
Oh, I
you
have some
won't
of
have
my
any
best
time.
dreams while I'm asleep.
Your body will not be able to
Yeah,
work.
obviously.
Be able to see.
No, meaning, but why did God create us in such a way
Self-hypnosis.
that we had to sleep? God created us that a third of our time, if you're healthy, a third of our time, you're sleeping. A third of your life, you're sleeping.
That's why you're in your prime. You get a little bit older. It just doesn't work that way.
You sleep a lot less.
Yes.
But
Which is why I'm always tired.
right? But in theory, meaning you get older, you sleep more, and then when you're a kid, you sleep more. Whatever it is, let's balance it out, right?
Yeah.
30% of your life, you're sleeping. Why did God create us that way? Because it's for us to be able to take advantage of every day we have something new. Because if there was no renewal, or there was no, if there was no change, something new for us to meditate on, to contemplate, to appreciate, then we would never better ourselves. We would be stuck in the same rut, and that's it. Every day, a person has to wake up and say, "Today I could do something
Oh,
different."
it's not like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, every day would be Groundhog's Day,
Yeah.
with no end in sight.
We didn't realize it was the rabbinical scholar that wrote that movie.
You know, you always have to keep in mind what it says, that the source of everything in the world is in the Torah.
Yeah.
Yep,
You could, I think I told you the story.
the old phrase, nothing new under the sun.
Like that's King Solomon says it in Kohelet. Like the people who asked the previous Rebbe, what's better, socialism, communism? So the Friedrich Rebbe answered, all the isms and all human ideas are in the Torah. You can find everything, in the Torah. Nothing new under the for good and for bad. There's no ridiculous idea that Torah hasn't thought of and addressed. And sometimes in previous generations, like, why did the Torah put it in here? Well, now you know. Everything's in there. That's why shop somewhere else? It's like the Sears. Everything's inside. Don't go anywhere else.
But they went out of business.
Yeah.
Sears is not a business.
You guys should hold on to their catalogs. It might be a collector's edition.
Well, those catalogs had multiple purposes.
Squish, hit flies.
Yep.
Yeah,
You keep
all right.
them in the outhouse.
Yep.
So
Or you use it as tinder.
So this is what the Rebbe explains in text number 12. He says, why were human beings created in a way that we have to sleep? So it says, it's to emphasize the renewal of our divine service. On one hand, we are compelled by nature to put a pause in Torah and performance of mitzvahs. However, the sense of renewal we attain by sleeping infuses our Torah study. And let's say yesterday you had a bad day. You wasted time, too much time on the phone, or whatever it was, or you were lazy and whatever. You had a bad day. It wasn't a productive day. You go to sleep, you wake up and say, today, no. Today I'm different. If you didn't have sleep, you didn't have this renewal idea, you'd be stuck in the same. No, but this is what the idea of the Kohen Gadol, does. Every day, a new service, and it's part of your entire journey of service. And it's not only, by the way, waking up. You contemplate it. One of the things we do is when you go to the bathroom, you make a blessing. Why? Because a person's body could work, yeah, and then one day work no. Like the big news, everyone's going crazy because Princess Kate,
Yeah.
right? Ooh, she's sick.
So is the king.
So is the king. I don't know. It must be asbestos in Westminster.
Maybe.
No, not Westminster. Buckingham. Sorry, Buckingham. So
Either one.
I'm a little. Yeah, I'm on my British. Yeah.
Your peerage.
Yeah, and ever since we kicked their butt twice, I don't really know their.
You don't keep track of the residents.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you got to remember, Balfour was a nice guy, and deep inside his heart. So
Yeah, very deep.
you got to look up to the British a little bit.
Sure.
So this is what we have to take in mind, and it also works for it's also a little bit of a unsettling or sober thought also. Don't say, you know when I'll start doing mitzvahs, you know when I'll get better? Tomorrow. Mañana. No.
Is that the Yiddish word, manana?
Yeah. Why? Because you don't know what mañana is going to bring. You don't know if you'll have a mañana. Your job is to take advantage of today. You know, in the end of the Torah, Moshe calls to witness the heavens and earth. Why? Because he says, me, I'm here today, gone tomorrow. Heavens and earth are always going to be here. So with me, you can say, the rabbi said it, he didn't say it. How did he say it? So we can never be too overconfident in ourselves, and we can never underestimate ourselves. This is what it's saying. See text number 14. Elazar says in Pirkei Avos, repent one day before you die. The Gemara says, what does that mean? Okay, repent today. And worse comes to worse, you live a long time, and you spend the entire day of teshuvah. What does teshuvah mean, by the way?
Returning.
Returning to your true self means bettering yourself. Doesn't mean repenting, right? Because how much can you say I'm sorry? I think I told you. Some people get more angry when you apologize. I had a pair of tefillah for somebody. I had to bring it. I forgot it. I bumped into this person, and I said, "Oh shoot, I forgot it." And I wish she would have reminded me. She called me up screaming. You made me feel terrible, like it's my fault and everything. I said, "I'm sorry. It wasn't my intention. You know, we're trying to facilitate observance of mitzvahs. It wasn't my intention to make you feel that way. I apologize." But the more I apologized, the hotter she became.
The angrier
As she just kept voice level just. So I'm thinking to myself.
I've run into people.
I'm thinking to myself, what more do you want me to say? I apologize. I accepted the responsibility.
Long story short, I had a customer call me once, and inadvertently had put off fixing his piece of equipment for an extraordinarily long time. And I explained to him what the situation was, and I apologized. I said, we'll get on it today. No matter what I said to him, he kept yelling and yelling and yelling. I finally said, go to hell.
You remind me of the old joke. This guy walks into a shoe store. He says, you know, I'm moving and I found in the attic an old ticket from 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You know that one?
Yeah, I know the story.
Yeah.
Come back tomorrow noon.
It'll be ready Tuesday.
It'll be ready Tuesday. No, it'll be ready Tuesday.
Unbelievable. Okay, so what teshuvah really means to make yourself better. That's what teshuvah means. You return and you make yourself better. So every single day. So when you wake up in the morning, how are you always happy? You're happy because that means God believes in you. God didn't believe in you. You won't wake up. When you wake up in the morning, think to myself, you say, Maidani,
Yeah.
God put me on this world because he wants something from me. So I mean, someone believes in me. You know, when no one believes in you, then find the bridge. God forbid. But the point is, when you wake up in the morning, it means God has something for you to do. So don't waste time. What do you mean? God asks you to do something. So get trucking. So every single day, you have to. They say in Yiddish, we have to carpe diem, seize the day. And this is what it says. Here we go. So one must always experience an advanced level of tshuva, which is marked by great joy. The Alter Rebbe says, what does an advanced level of tshuva means? The idea that we could always get better. Always get better. Okay, so how's it possible to be in a constant state of joy if when we make it as if each day is the last chance to do tshuva and get better, that each day is invigorated or purpose, not just any day. Now it's a day to get better. Key points. The high priest brought a unique offering each day in the temple. There were two types of sacrifices, communal and individual. The high priest sacrificed to the latter category, thus each day was like his first. The high priest was able to tap into the spiritual energy of his inauguration every day. We too can tap in to the spiritual energy renewed each moment, or at least each day. The various prayers and meditations. So you have Muda'ani, when you wake up, you have Ashiyatza when you go to the bathroom. We can and should approach every single day as if it's our last, but in a positive, empowering way to take action and joyously not miss opportunities. All best. Have a great week. Next week we learn Parshat Shmini, and then we have Pesach. Make sure to order your matzah.
I'm gonna order it tonight.
I didn't send out the link. See, when I touch like this, nothing happens.